So picture this. You've just hired what you think is the perfect software engineer. I mean, the resume was flawless, they crushed every single interview, and they're all set up to work remotely. But then, weird things start to happen. Projects stall, the code becomes this tangled, chaotic mess, and nobody can figure out why. And look, this isn't some hypothetical scare tactic. This is a true story, and frankly, it's a huge warning shot for all of us.
This is exactly what happened to a guy named Cliff Jerkovich. After weeks of just total chaos, his senior engineers, they made a shocking discovery. The new hire, it wasn't one person at all. Nope, it was a front, basically farming out all the work to a team of overseas coders. As Cliff said, coding is kind of like a fingerprint, and he was seeing multiple fingerprints all over the crime scene. The company made it through, but that one fake hire crippled them for 6 long months.
And if you think Cliff's story is just a one-off, well, think again. It's becoming alarmingly common. So common, in fact, that the research from Gartner predicts that by 2028, a staggering 1 in 4 job applicants could be entirely fake. And we're not just talking about, slightly fudging the dates on a resume. We're talking about completely fraudulent identities designed to do one thing: infiltrate companies. What we're seeing here has moved way beyond just individual scams. We're now witnessing the rise of a highly industrialized shadow economy. It's a whole ecosystem built on creating and deploying fake candidates. And it's all powered by super accessible AI that targets the weak spots in our remote hiring world. And the scale of this whole operation, it's just mind-boggling. According to the Federal Trade Commission, the financial losses from this kind of fraud have absolutely exploded. Get this. We've gone from what was a $90 million problem back in 2020 to a $500 million criminal enterprise in just 4 years. That's insane.
So what do these scams actually look like? Well, they come in a few different flavors. You've got your classic advance fee scam, right? That's where they say, you're hired, but then ask you to pay for your own laptop or training. Then there are money mule schemes that trick you into becoming part of their money laundering operation. Lately, we've seen a huge surge in these task scams, usually on WhatsApp or Telegram, that lure you in with easy money for simple things, like liking videos, only to then demand you pay them to unlock bigger earnings. But honestly, the most dangerous of them all is just straight-up identity theft. And the engine driving this whole shadow economy? It's generative AI. I mean, it can create a perfect keyword-stuffed resume in seconds. But here's the really alarming part. It can create a deepfake, a completely synthetic video persona that can show up for a virtual interview, looking, talking, and sounding just like a real person. So how in the world can you spot one? Well, there are these subtle little tells. A real person, they move naturally, they have fluid expressions. A deepfake might look a little robotic, maybe a bit too stiff. Or you might notice the audio is just a fraction of a second out of sync with their lips. But here's a key weakness. Right now, the AI really struggles when something blocks the view of the face it's generating. So for example, if a person slowly passes a hand in front of their mouth, the AI can glitch or blur as it frantically tries to rebuild the image. The techie term is an occlusion, and for now, it's a dead giveaway. But look, financial scams that target job seekers, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The far, far greater risk, the one that really keeps security experts up at night, is what happens when one of these fake applicants actually gets the job. Security expert James McWigan calls it a state-of-the-art Trojan horse. And that's exactly what it is. The fake employee isn't just some unqualified worker. They are a malicious actor who you have just handed the keys to your kingdom. They've bypassed all your external security by just walking right through the virtual front door. And once they're inside, they can install ransomware, steal your company's most valuable secrets, or commit fraud. In one of the most shocking real-world examples, the Department of Justice revealed that over 300 U.S. firms had unknowingly hired IT workers who were actually secret operatives for North Korea. These fake employees funneled millions of dollars in salary back home to directly fund their country's weapons programs. It's wild. Okay, so the threat is real, it's sophisticated, and it's honestly pretty scary. But this has kicked off a kind of technological arms race. And the good news is, we can absolutely fight back. In fact, the same AI that powers the threat can also be our greatest defense. So let's get practical. Let's say you're a hiring manager and you're conducting a virtual interview tomorrow. How can you be absolutely sure you're talking to a real person and not a piece of software? Well, there are a few simple, almost low-tech tests you can run right away. First, there's that hand wave test we talked about. Asking them to slowly pass their hand in front of their face can cause the software to glitch. Second, ask spontaneous, location-specific questions. If a candidate says they live in Dallas, they should be able to name their favorite BBQ spot without a long, awkward pause. And finally, ask them to do something unpredictable, like turn their head completely to the side, to a full profile view. These simple actions can often break the illusion completely. Now, these human checks are a great first line of defense, but technology is really the ultimate weapon here. And the impact is huge. Companies that have started using AI-powered identity verification and deepfake detection tools are reporting up to an 85% reduction in hiring-related fraud. That's a massive difference. All right, let's put it all together. Whether you're hiring for a massive company or you're just looking for your next role, here is a practical defense toolkit you can start using today. Okay, first step. For all the employers, recruiters, and hiring managers watching, protecting your organization really requires a strategy with multiple layers. 1. Train your team on all the red flags we've talked about. Make them paranoid in a good way. 2. Work closely with your IT department to monitor a new hire's network activity. Is anything weird? 3. For those high-risk roles with access to sensitive data, maybe just make a final in-person interview mandatory, no exceptions. And 4, you gotta fight tech with tech. Invest in those AI-powered tools that can verify IDs and spot deepfakes in real time. Now, let's flip the script, because the job market is tough enough without having to dodge all these scams. So for all you job seekers out there, here's how you can protect yourself and make sure you stand out from the fakes. First, lean on your network. A referral from someone you trust is the safest way to a new job, period. Second, always do your homework. Check the company's real website, look up the recruiter on LinkedIn. Third, and this is a huge one, you should never, ever have to pay for a job. A legitimate company will always cover the costs of training and equipment. Also, be super skeptical of random job offers on messaging apps. And finally, when you get that interview, show, don't tell. Tell specific, detailed stories about your accomplishments. AI can list skills, but it can't replicate your actual lived experience. You know, when you boil it all down, it's pretty simple. As AI makes it easier and easier to fake qualifications, to fake skills, to even fake an entire identity, real, verifiable authenticity has become the most valuable asset in the job market. For everyone. This new reality leaves all of us with a pretty fundamental question, and it's one that's only going to get more important as we go forward. In a world full of deepfakes and digital ghosts, how are you going to prove you're human?